actually hit it.
Ba ba ba. So am I quieter than you?
Well, when you...
Like this?
Yeah. Can you do the whole episode like that?
Yeah, I'll do it like this.
Yeah, perfect.
This is good.
Perfect.
Really clever comment, Tom. Good.
How do you do?
Whatever.
We're about to unfold the story of the son of Frankenstein.
This one is probably just as bad as his father. Good morning, son.
Well, hello.
My son, you have inherited the fortune of the Frankensteins. I trust you will not inherit their fate.
I am not your worst fiend, father. What are you going to do about it? There's a monster up, you know it.
Well,
All right.
we warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I am Tom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson. And you've joined us for, who cares? It's minute 67 of Son of Frankenstein.
8.
That one too. We did 67.
We just did
that was
it.
a good one.
Yeah,
I just thought we had so much
going to do it
say.
again.
We'd do it again. As you may recall, wrapping up last week's minute, I was convinced that, as we assumed would happen, Wolf is very concerned about the disappearance
the fate of Benson.
his beloved Benson.
Yes.
Who, as he mentioned in the film, has worked for him for many years.
Many years.
Yeah, he's
side by
a trusted
side.
advisor.
He refers to it as our experiments.
Yes, yeah. Everything. Yeah. He refers to Elsa as our wife at one point.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's
very tight. It's
a very close family.
I might be thinking of a different movie.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, but yeah.
Game of Thrones with all the insects.
That's probably more of a Game of Thrones than a Frankenstein thing.
It might be a Flesh for Frankenstein thing.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen that.
Oh, you should.
Really?
It's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out there meaning...
It's pretty wild. It may be tame now, but I know when I first saw it in the early 80s, it was like pretty far out stuff.
Okay.
It goes by the title Andy Warhol's Frankenstein.
Right.
Andy Warhol had fuck all to do with it.
That figures.
The biggest phony in the history of the universe, Andy Warhol.
Okay.
He's a celebrity because he's a celebrity. Certainly not for his fucking artwork. Here's a soup can. Overrated. Way overrated.
Way overrated.
Oh, please.
Here's the thing. He create that those soup cans are.
I know it's iconic.
It's iconic. Why? Because
I have no idea.
everyone sucks. Okay, well then, good.
It's
fine.
It's,
you don't like it.
It invented pop art, I guess, but it sort of existed already. Not in the art world, but it's certainly graphic. It's basically graphic art hung in a museum. I don't think he did anything groundbreaking other than being an event.
And that's, I think, that's the
and that's
key.
why he's famous.
That's what his role in history is based on. Yeah. So that's a thing, though.
I guess
that's a real thing. Have you ever heard about that? Everyone will have 15 minutes of fame. That's so that
that's a thing.
He had that.
Yeah. Have we had ours? Is this show? Our 15 minutes of fame occurred when we were on Gilbert's.
But it was only a bonus episode.
Yeah, right.
What are you going to do?
We could talk Frank into
letting
that go into
the
general.
Yeah, well, maybe then that'll be our 15 minutes.
All right.
Gilbert Gottfried said, fuck you to me.
Yep, and I should kill myself.
He told you that you should kill yourself.
And I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
that's exactly, a big success.
Exactly what you'd want.
We wear that with pride.
It's exactly
absolutely.
what you'd want from Gilbert Gottfried.
So confronted with the disappearance of his trusted advisor, spiritual advisor, you might say, because he goes to him multiple times for advice and just to talk. And remember, because he was in the lab with Frankenstein. He found out Frankenstein was alive, and so he left just to go talk, to go have a couple of drinks with in
this very room with
Benson. There's that scene where they have oral sex.
Yeah,
if you remember that, that's
a good scene.
That's why this movie's so long.
That was our biggest downloaded minute too.
That was a highlight.
Yeah.
Highlight for our podcast, the oral sex with Benson. So what does Wolf do when confronted with this? He immediately lies. Now, I think that in itself should be enough we should be able to judge Wolf as a prick for that. But he does do it in the presence of
Krogh.
Who's barely present, by the way. I have notes later, but this isn't the best Atwell minute.
There's a moment, though, that I like.
Oh, good.
A couple.
We'll look forward to that.
The notes I just made before we started.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I think that it is the presence of a Krogh that makes him immediately lie like that. But I also think he would do it anyway.
Well. Yeah, he would lie to her as well.
Yeah, this whole thing is a big secret. Yeah. He is as gay as a lark, and he's just keeping it a secret.
He's closeted through.
I'm always looking for some idiotic subtext.
Up until that last scene, he's closeted in this whole film.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were saved by the bell, or at least by the knockers.
Oh, another thing I wanted to say before we get to the... Okay. I kind of figured that this would come up, the knockers.
Go ahead. What do you have to say first?
Just it's great that you can... I think that it is true that you can absolutely point to this and say this is where, like, Gene Wilder presumably wrote that, and that this is where that comes from. Well,
we see them earlier in the film,
true.
And they are quite prominent.
Yep.
So yes, definitely.
Yeah. I think her mentioning the knocker here made him giggle.
Yep.
Because she's wearing a low-cut dress.
She is.
That's not why.
It's not terribly revealing.
It's not terribly revealing, and she's not particularly buxom.
Yeah. She's no Terry Garr.
Say this: she's lovely.
Oh, she is.
I'm certainly not saying.
Oh, absolutely.
She's not lovely.
We love Elsa.
Yeah, she's great in this minute. She's a real person. That's what I wrote here. A real person expressing her feelings in a very realistic way.
Yeah.
In my opinion, she sort of changes the tone of the movie because it is a sort of, I want to say, arch. It's very melodramatic. It's a fucking horror movie with fucking Frankenstein in it. So then she, it's not real life.
Yeah.
So then. There's a Frankenstein walking around. What the fuck is going on?
The place is crawling with him.
She's real. She grounds everything. Yes. I think.
Oh yeah, no.
In particular in this
throughout, but particularly here.
Yeah, and there, I should say also, there's future minutes where I'm gonna have more to say about that. This isn't like her highlighter.
Oh no,
but she's a real person. But she comes across that way.
Yeah, that awful knocker.
Yeah, she looks actually surprised by the knocker. Yeah.
Would prefer an old-fashioned doorbell because the knocker makes her jump out of her skin.
Oh, wait a second. Wait. The sound. Did you hear that?
Oh, Wolf, couldn't we install an old-fashioned doorbell? That boom almost makes me jump out of my skin.
What, the sound of Josephine Hutchinson talking about a bell can only mean one thing. I don't know. Well, I don't have anything. It's time for Bill's Bell update. Just I'm going to bring back the Bell update because just to make sure.
Backed by popular demand.
Backed by sheer
desperation.
Sheer lack of
originality.
No, I was going to say lack of popular demand. No. In the face of lack of popular demand,
we're going against
Bill's Bell update.
All logic.
So I do have an update. I have an update on the bell.
Yeah.
The update is no bell. But someone is talking about getting another bell, and I think that's pretty important as compared to previous bell.
Okay. The word bell was uttered.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Twice.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Okay,
so that happened. And then
Krogh says that the knockers were used in the old days to arouse the entire household. Yeah. Call to arms in time of danger. And wait.
That awful knocker.
That sound of the knocker can only mean one thing. It's Tom's knocker update. Because this is sure to come in again. It's been introduced in the film as a call to arms.
Call to arms in times of danger.
Or danger.
Yeah.
So this is surely to come back.
No way we can't. Yeah.
This is surely to come back as
it's going to be. Everybody's already pictured the finale. The bell in the tower is going to ring.
Off, the knocker
is going to be going
crazy. Yep. All hell breaks loose.
Probably some fire. There's always fire in these, right?
Oh, yeah.
There'll probably be some fire.
Yep.
All right. We'll look forward to that. How many minutes are left? Just a couple, right? Because we're at 68. I mean,
it's going to be like 5-10 minutes left.
5 or 10 minutes left. So, we're at the end.
We're right there. It's only Lionel Atwill can eat soup and look sinister.
Okay.
He takes a few sips from the spoon, but he does it glaring at Wolf.
So what I wrote actually on that topic is that I don't think he quite nails it. He's somewhat subtle, actually.
Are you too subtle? Is that?
I don't need him to be subtle. I like him over the top.
You like Lionel Atwill in Mystery of the Wax Museum or
Wax Museum Atwill. Yeah. I got all the time in the world
Murders
for that.
in the Zoo. Yeah.
Even Bomer had a bit of a sinister...
Man-Made Monster. He's great. He's the mad doctor in that.
I remember him, and I haven't seen that maybe ever.
Yeah, I just got from the UK, Eureka put out... Where'd it go here? Yeah, like anybody cares. It's a
Eureka put out a
Universal
box set
Terrors or something. It's these
of stuff that you already had.
Yep.
And they have commentaries or what?
It's this here. The 3 Monster Tales of Sci-Fi Terror.
Okay.
We got Man-Made Monster, The Monolith Monsters, and Monster on Campus. So it's basically 3 films Universal put out with Monster in the title.
It took me way too long to realize that I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never seen this. I don't know what this is. Why don't I know about this?
Anyway, the commentary
it's Kim Newman and...
the commentaries on these from Eureka versus the ones from Shout Factory, because it's the same films.
Yep.
It's a different viewpoint. They're talking about it from a viewpoint of having seen these much later than most of us have here in the U.S.
Yeah.
They're not monster kids like we are. They grew up more with the Hammer stuff and things like that. So they're looking at a whole different perspective. So they're looking at even a film like Night Key, which everybody mocks and derides, and they actually enjoy it. It's Jonathan Rigby and
Kim Newman.
Not Kim Newman, Jones.
Stephen Jones?
Stephen Jones.
Just saw the name. Back of that.
They point out all of its good points versus Tom Weaver ripping it. And it's still, Weaver's still extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
And I laugh out loud for most of his commentaries.
Yeah.
But I thought theirs was a little more useful.
Yeah.
I can look at this in a different way now.
I just can't express to you how frustrating it is to think that Night Key has multiple commentaries, and you're saying how one is much better than the other, and a movie like, I don't know, Son of Frankenstein has no commentaries anywhere in the world.
This doesn't. Dracula's Daughter doesn't.
Yeah.
Werewolf of
Mummy's
London.
Hand, Mummy's Curse.
Yeah, any of the Mummy films other
Mummy's
than
Butt.
The Mummy's Butt.
The Mummy's Butt.
All right. Perry Ivans comes over to Atwill. One of your men, Inspector. There's been an accident in the village.
Well, so he comes up to Krogh, who is eating soup, as you said. I just want to point out that no one thinks there's any liquid in that bowl in the spoon.
No.
Yeah, there's no...
It's like on TV now where anytime they have like a cup of coffee from like a Starbucks, it is painfully obvious there's nothing in those cups.
Yeah, nobody's even trying.
Put something in there so it has some heft, and when you set it down, it does not sound like a hollow cup. That drives me crazy. Yep. How hard is it?
Apparently,
water, for fuck's sake.
Apparently it's impossible.
Something in there to give it some weight. Been an accident in the village, and throughout being told that, he's staring Wolf down.
Who is?
Krogh.
Oh, yeah.
He's staring
That's true.
Right at Wolf.
That I like. Yeah. Is that the moment you're talking about?
Yeah.
The way he looks over at Wolf. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but here's where this is where I kind of have a hard time with it. Is minute by minute this works out perfectly. But if you're just watching, if you'd watched last minute and this minute at the same time, there's a discrepancy there. Benson's missing, and he doesn't seem to care. Krogh. And that's actually, what am I saying? That's this minute. Really, he's still at the beginning of this minute looking, he's given him the look, but it's more, like I said, more subtle. And then when Fritz comes in, I'm sorry, Fritz just gets this entire update from the officer outside. He's like, "Yep, don't worry about it. I'll fucking tell him.
I got it.
I got this." You'd think that might be, police business might be a little bit more official than that. Like, I told Fritz. Did he not tell you?
Did he not tell you?
It's a murder in the village? And Krog's like, "Who the fuck is Fritz?" Although, no, that doesn't work here. In this particular example, Krogh and Fritz have a good relationship. Actually, I've thought about this scene. You know how last time we saw Fritz, Krogh was looking up and then Fritz nodded because he's there at their meal. I was thinking they would take that footage of him nodding and just cut it in like 2 or 3 times throughout the scene. Anytime anybody says anything, he's nodding and Krogh's eyeballing him, and they kind of.
I agree.
It's kind of the same relationship. It's just, I don't know. That might be kind of silly. Now I have to do that.
I
have to fucking put it together.
I think that would be great.
How many weeks do I have?
4 or 5. It's got to be wrapping up.
That's a good point. We're almost done.
Yep.
Oh, I do want to say, actually, this comment I wrote here doesn't make any sense. I must have been drinking when I wrote this comment. He seemed awfully concerned about the gent just a few minutes ago, and now it seems like he's maybe a bit more interested in soup. That's true, actually.
Well,
he's not. He does have a. I guess it's like you said. It's a put on. He's trying to just keep his foot in the door.
It's an eminence front. It's a put on.
It's an eminence front. I just listened to that song.
Yeah, I just heard it a couple days ago, yeah. It's in my playlist of like 500 some songs that I just keep on repeat.
You know why? I just remembered why. Roger Daltrey doesn't like that album. He said they shouldn't have put it out.
Dances?
It's not that one, it's the other one. It's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
And he said they shouldn't have put it out. And I'm like, it's got fucking Eminence front on it. I don't give a shit.
There's some good stuff on it, yeah.
Yeah, The Who doesn't, in my opinion, when I look at the work of The Who, they don't have a lot of great albums. They have
Who's Next?
They have Who's Next, which to me is a fucking great album.
I think it's their best,
Yeah, so let's make that clear. Yeah. They have that great album. Yeah. But everything else, Tommy's got a lot of get through to me.
A lot of filler, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like Quadrophenia. I don't know why.
It's too long.
Yeah, maybe it's too long.
It's too long.
And I mean, like stuff
but there's
like
good stuff in it.
The Who Sell Out. I'll accept that that's a great moment in music and marketing history or whatever. I don't know. It
doesn't necessarily stand up. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But Eminence Front, on the other hand, is a fucking great song. It's like if instead of what was their drummer's name?
Keith Moon.
Keith Moon. Instead of Keith Moon dying, if they'd all died, and then we had to like sort of guess what the Who would have been like
they would have gone
in the 80s or whatever. Yeah. That's what that Eminence Front sounds like to me. It's like first of all, I hit play on the synthesizer to do some little and it's like that's very the Who.
Very Who.
You know what I mean? It works very well for me.
Well, I think like Athena is a good song.
There's good songs, absolutely.
And that's fine.
You know what I really liked? The last Who album. It came out like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was.
I really liked it.
They had one too in like the
I listened to it every once in a while.
I want to say the mid-2000s.
Okay.
It was basically a Pete Townsend record that Roger sang on, but that's okay.
Well, that's what
every Who
got
album
no problem
ever.
Here.
Yeah, every Who album ever made is.
Yeah. Although obviously the other two guys had a pretty big contribution to say. I'm not
trying to belittle.
Who's Next?
I'm not trying to belittle Entwistle or Moon in any way.
You ever listen to
except when Entwistle writes a song and sings it, then I'm not necessarily always on board.
Not always. Sometimes very much so. But rarely.
Silas Stingy? No. Can't do it.
Yeah, but my wife and
my wife is good.
Boris the Spider.
Boris the Spider. I love Boris the Spider.
Yeah, so there's exceptions to that rule. But on Who's Next, Won't Get Fooled Again. Have you ever just listened just to the drums? Moon doesn't stop at all. He's constantly doing something. It's like he's getting paid by the hit.
By the drum beat.
Because he's got a big set and he's hitting them all the time.
This huge.
Oh yeah, the live version of that.
Yeah, he's got this huge array of stuff.
Yeah, I actually just watched that the other day.
Kids Are All Right?
Just that song from Kids Are All Right. But yes, I prefer the album version because he does that drum solo, I guess, where it it's got the pauses.
Yeah.
Live, he just beats the shit out of everything. There's no pausing. So I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't imagine how we got here.
I don't know.
This is not even this is podcasting, all right?
All right.
It's not it's an art.
There's been a sudden death come at once.
Well, hold on a second. I have a lot of stuff that...
I'm almost done, so go for it.
You're so far ahead of me. Wolf, can we install an old-fashioned doorbell?
I thought we already covered that.
I know. This is I got all kinds of notes. We just went streaming past.
Just roughshod over it.
I had two things about it. Number one was my little the sound of Josephine Hutchinson talking about a bell coming. One thing we covered that.
Yeah.
An old-fashioned doorbell. Okay, so periodically I like to try to figure out what year it is. It's 1939. So an old-fashioned doorbell, if we assume it's 1939, are we to assume it's... I think we're to assume...
No, I think so.
is this like before electricity? Is this one of those things where they would pull the
cord and
it was an actual cord that would ring bells throughout the house? Is that what you're? What do you picture when she says?
Either that, or you've seen like the Laurel and Hardy's, where he keeps pushing the button and it finally explodes.
I don't know that one. I that's a hole in my movie watching it. Laurel and Hardy. I've seen 6 or 8 of them.
There's some,
and there's hundreds of them.
Well, there's 103, I think. There's just some marvelous stuff. I say Stan Laurel is on par with Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin as a comedic filmmaker, and I don't think he's gotten his due.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to change the world. They're just really fucking funny, and that's all you need.
Yeah, they're okay.
I've been to the Heights a few times when they've had these Laurel and Hardy festivals. They have it every year.
Okay.
And I haven't laughed so hard
anything else.
At anything else.
Yeah, maybe I should try that one of these years.
Yeah, they usually sell out like within minutes, so you got to be right there.
Hitchcock Fest or whatever's coming up soon.
And Fathom Events has 2 double features coming up in October.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, I meant to send it because I just got the email the other day. This is really fascinating for everybody.
Well, I'm gonna guess, since you're saying October and Fathom Events, that if it's 2 double features. Here's my guess. One double feature is Dracula and Frankenstein. The other double feature is The Wolfman and Bride of Frankenstein.
You got one right.
Oh, really?
First double feature is The Mummy and Bride of Frankenstein.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the second double feature, which I could probably skip, is Creature from the Black Lagoon and Phantom of the Opera.
Jesus Christ, which Phantom of the Opera?
The 43, yeah.
What the fuck is...
Yeah, who cares about...
You gotta be kidding me. Why are they digging that fucking piece of shit up? Nobody wants to see that.
Right, but the first one, I haven't seen The Mummy in a theater.
No, good point.
So that would be fun. I have seen Creature from the Black Lagoon in a theater in 3D. And it's pretty cool. I know you're not a big fan. I happen to like it a lot.
I need to revisit The Creature. I think I just people I know and respect.
I like it a lot. It's the best looking full monster suit.
Yes,
ever.
I think that's critical.
It's fantastic.
Well, and periodically, in life you come across like a clip on whatever, you'd be scrolling through TikTok, if you will, and they'll show a clip from that. I'm like, yeah, that's right. There's a real artistry to the
design of it, the execution of it.
Underwater film.
Oh, the underwater photography is fantastic, yeah. In 3D, it's cool because it's like you're looking into this giant cube of water. Okay. It's a really cool effect.
I mean, unfortunately, what you remind me of is I think it was the gorilla that was on TV when we were kids. Large, yeah. And everybody went to Tom Thumb and got your glasses. And you came home and it looked like a cube. Like you just described it. It looked fucked up.
Yeah, it didn't work very well.
Like the 3D went backwards and everything in the background was further away, and the forward stuff was just on the front of the screen of the TV. It didn't
work very well.
I don't know.
No, I've seen some way better 3D stuff from the 50s than that.
Do you like 3D?
Not particularly. I'm not a big fan of it. I actually find it more distracting than anything. But I did see, actually the best thing in 3D I ever saw was a Three Stooges short.
Okay.
So they throwing shit at the camera. Okay. And this mad scientist has this syringe that's like about a foot long. Yeah. And he's pointing it directly. So, I mean, you can almost feel it poking between your eyes. Yeah, people were screaming in the theater. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. I have a friend that's a proponent of 3D, and he bought a 3D 4K TV. He talked about it yesterday. I talked to him. He said apparently there was a very short window where they were still making 3D TVs, and they had just started making 4K TVs. So you can't get one
anymore.
So then if you want to watch 4K 3D, now you need a 4K TV that does 3D and a 4K player 3D. Yeah. He has all that. So he's like, what was the thing he just got? Well, he'll buy Marvel movies. He'll buy every 3D thing that comes out, it sounds like. And he said he had to get something from Japan. He had to get one from this country because it's just random where you can even get this stuff anymore. And I find it fascinating when he's talking about it, but I don't really care about 3D. No. Like I remember I saw Thor, the original movie Thor. Somebody took me to it in 3D. Because I do not buy tickets to 3D movies. I don't do it.
Generally don't. We saw the Hobbit movies
Okay.
in 3D, but it was also the 48 frames per second
good God.
versions.
What was that like?
It was like watching a video. I didn't like it.
I don't like the video
I didn't
effect.
like it. It looked too much like a video. It didn't have that film look.
You know, the show, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say, the show Doctor Who.
Never heard of it.
Okay, well, there's a show in Britain in the 60s in black and white.
Okay.
And what happened was, the show was shot primarily on video with some filmed inserts.
Usually if it's like Monty Python or Benny Hill, right? When they're in the studio,
that's right.
It's on video. Anything on location is 16 millimeter film.
Right, exactly. What happened was, now I can't stop saying what happened was.
What happened was
the show was popular, so they sent it to the foreigners wanted to see it, so they sent it to other countries where they have different video formats. Right. So of course they had to put it all on film. Yeah. So then they scrapped the tapes because they're in their wisdom they scrapped the tapes. So now we just have the films, which for the most part look great. But this guy created this thing called VidFire, which recreates frames. It creates fake frames that make it look like video in between the film frames. And so now a great proportion of this show that I love that's being released on every form, there's a Blu-ray coming out soon that does this effect that I'm talking about to make it look like shit. Because I prefer the look of film to the look of video.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But people go out of their way to try to make it look like
I don't
video.
Understand that.
Yeah.
I don't understand that frame of mind.
No. I think what you get more often is they film something on video with the intention of making it look like film, and sometimes they fail. There was a version of what was Neil Gaiman's thing, but it
Sandman?
Not that one.
It was Good Omens.
20 years ago. 30 years ago. Maybe.
Oh, it's
Neverwhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that if you watch the special features on that or whatever, they talk about the fact that they were supposed to add this film effect, they just never did it. Like it ran out of money or whatever.
Oh.
So that show looks like shit.
Okay.
So like,
but
that's the point.
You think now they could retroactively apply that effect and re-release it? It's like, or is there just no money in it?
It's like Godzilla versus the Smog monster. They could put that out, but there's nobody wants it.
There's no money in it.
Yeah, if you want it, you have to make your own video effect. Okay.
Yeah, no thanks. All right,
well, that's we settled that.
What else you got?
There's no liquid in Krog's dish. The first doorbells were mechanical. They made a sound when someone pulled a cord or turned a little handle that caused a hammer to strike a bell located inside of a house. Also, a doorbell which worked using piped compressed air was invented by a Scotsman in 1817.
That, I think, is what is on the Addams Family doorbell.
Okay.
They pull the cord out and brrr.
That's the.
And I think that's what kind that is.
Now that's an old-fashioned doorbell.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Anyway.
1817. So maybe that's what Elsa's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting.
So Mary Shelley could theoretically have had one of those doorbells.
Yes. She had it installed right before she wrote Frankenstein in 1818.
Yeah.
I also have here.
No, they never had the money to do anything state of the art.
Okay, so you caught me in a bit of a lie. She didn't have it installed, but if you go to Villa Diodati, they could afford it.
They could definitely afford it.
Larry Diodati, he had one put in.
Giuseppe. No, they're in Switzerland. So I don't know what a Swiss name is.
What's a Swiss name?
I don't fucking know.
Krinsk.
Sure. Well, listeners in Switzerland, will you leave a message that you may end up on got any more questions while and win a Godzilla DVD.
As usual, there's a Beatles reference here. Oh. Somebody's interviewing, the Beatles are on BBC radio, and they're talking about their movie, and the guy says, do you know what the name of your Hard Day's Night is in, he says somewhere there where they speak Spanish, he's basically saying, or Portuguese or something like that. And John Lennon, his guess is Krinst die Night, which that doesn't sound Spanish at all. It's completely, so that's where I got that word.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a word or if I've offended someone. It probably means cunt. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Our fans in the Netherlands have all just
they've all tuned out. Yeah. Can you believe
that fucking... Who the fuck do they think they are?
Okay, so we kind of covered this, but I just want to
make it quick because I got to pee.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead.
That Krog was being subtle, but then when Fritz informs him, Fritz of the yard, because that's what he does.
Look out of the yard.
Tells him the news. He then looks immediately. So he finds that's in this minute, right? When he hears that.
There's been an
unfortunate accident.
Yeah.
What happened?
There's
been an accident in the village. A sudden death. Immediately looks straight
he's glaring at Wolf.
At Wolf, which is a direct contrast to the time before when Peter said that he grabbed a hold of my arm. And I even mentioned at that time that it seemed like he missed a trick there by not looking over at Wolf to see what Wolf's reaction was. He had his own reaction.
He looks down and grabs his arm.
Yeah. Actually, it was that moment that he finally did look over, now that I think about it. Earlier, throughout the scene, he doesn't look over at Wolf. He only looks at him in embarrassment. Here, he's strategic about it and wants to get a feel for how Wolf reacts to this sudden death.
Also, part of it is just intimidating Wolf, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a deliberate response to
what he's told.
To hearing about the sudden death.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that you have to pee because.
No.
As everybody's already heard.
You can already hear the music.
You can hear the music. You're sick of it. It's been going and going.
Any more questions, wise ass?
Here we go. And again, I haven't read it. All right. This is Chuck. Okay. Chuck WPG.
Okay.
Commented on our post.
Okay.
I don't understand everything in it. So
this will be interesting. It's not Mo, is it?
Nope. No. He didn't say Mo. Okay. So we're better off there.
We're good. Okay. We got at least some frame of reference then.
There's some good stuff in here.
Okay.
But there's stuff I don't get. Okay. First thing. Thank you for your opinion. You're wrong. Now F off. ROGL.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what ROGL is. Did you look? Should we look it up?
I mean, like I said, I'm seeing these for the first time.
I have no idea what that means.
Now F off. ROGL. This was a response to an episode from August 11th. ROGL.
Rolling on the grass laughing, it says here.
I'll take it. Well, let's assume it's that. I don't think it is. We got to say something at this
That's
point.
what the Urban Dictionary tells me.
Oh, maybe it is.
Rolling on the ground laughing as well.
All right, maybe that is what it is. Okay, but then the tone is about to change.
Uh-oh.
He says, this is why this podcast is a sanctuary for those missing Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast. That and the tech tips at the end about how shitty the Google phone is.
Perfect. Nice.
I don't understand some of it, but I think the sentiment overall
is
very good.
You don't know. No, that's great. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't know what episode that's in reference to, though.
No, I try to do them in order.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you. So that's probably 62.
Okay. I'd like to know what we were wrong about.
Thank you for your opinion. You're wrong. No, F off. Okay. ROGL.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, but
this is why this podcast is a sanctuary for.
Okay.
Sanctuary for those missing GGACP.
Okay. That's actually quite a compliment.
That would be really amazing. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even aspire to something like that. If you guys have listened to Gilbert's podcast, or if you haven't listened to Gilbert's podcast,
do so.
Our episode is behind a paywall. You got to subscribe, but most of them are out there and available, and it's sort of perfect in a way. Like, some people are good at doing interviews, and some people aren't. Like David Letterman, as opposed to Jay Leno, or whatever your preferences are. Now you got a scenario where you got Frank Santopadre, who I can personally speak to his level of preparation, right? Like he actually bothered to listen to a few episodes of our show, so that's how bad it was for him. And then you've got Gilbert, who's obviously just a complete wild card, who just interrupts whenever he wants to just say something completely offensive and wonderful. Yeah. So just to even be mentioned in the same breath. Same breath is very,
quite a compliment.
Very complimentary.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yep. Now fuck off.
No, fuck off. I think
doesn't quite have the same.
I don't know if he's telling us to fuck off, but let's just be careful. Just be safe. Fuck off, Chuck.
Doesn't quite have the same cachet as when Gilbert tells you to fuck off.
No, not really the same.
But it's close.
That's true. All right. Well, thanks for
thanks for that.
Patreon listeners, feel free to tell us to F off. ROGL.